If we can get him on the show, then Edgar will see him. He'll know how much we want him to come home.
You're going crazy.
Hi, guys. How are you?
Hi.
Good. How are you?
I am very well. Incredible work on this. Anything with puppets always wins me over. So thank you for that.
You're very welcome.
Gaby, Cassie is someone who feels raw and emotionally exposed throughout this series. What was it like to experience someone like that with everything she's going through between a toxic marriage and trying to start a new relationship and the disappearance of her child? What was that like to really sort of piece all of that together?
It was fun is an unexpected word to use, but it was. I mean, to get to sort of be swimming in the deep waters of real big emotion and fear and love and the human experience, it's what we're in it for. So it's, of course, heavy and dark, but within that, there is the expansive experience of humanity. And that's pretty cool that I get to go to work and do that. So I found it fulfilling.
Benedict, there's a scene in episode 3, and obviously any spoilers I'll hold, but where you snort coke in a bathroom stall with a giant puppet. And then you dance together on a dance floor to Gloria. So, I mean, did you rehearse all of that? Is that something you just want to jump in and do?
Again, I go to work to dive into the deeper things of life and the human condition and take drugs and dance with a puppet on a disco floor. No, I
did that so much in my teenage years. I don't need to do it at work anymore.
You've lived that life. I did rehearse that because obviously it's not real cocaine. So what is it that you're putting up your nose and does it work? Yeah. And it's repulsive and it feels horrible and you have to do it without sneezing everywhere and making a mess of the shot. But I'm glad you brought up a sort of more I will say the word enjoyable moment for Vincent's various escapades in this drama. And yes, we did rehearse. We have a dance routine, which, it was even more expansive than that between me and Eric, and that was it was a joyous moment. It was, but like Gaby was saying about the dark stuff, this is our bread and butter. This is what we hang our craft on, and the challenge is the thrill. So, yeah, you shake it off. We both have children. We go home to a real life, and that's very easily and immediate to refocus to. It's demanding in that way, in a good way. And yet when we're at work, we're able to explore the depths of these people fighting for something truer and more authentic, and fighting for love, really, to be loved. And it's painful, but it's an extraordinary thing to do for a living, and to be able to expose yourself to those experiences safely and in the hands of a brilliant director in Lucy, extraordinary writer like Abi Morgan, and with fine company like Gaby and Booch and McKinley and Perro. Although I don't know scenes with her, but she's friends. I'm going to mention her because she's amazing in the series. I mean, it was, the list goes on. It was a glorious creative enterprise to be part of. It really was.
Yeah, I mean, with a story that is essentially so heavy, it feels funny to keep asking you about moments with the puppets, but
it's fine.
The fight that you also have with the puppet in the final episode, where you're really just sort of swinging at the air, was quite something to watch.
Yeah.
What was that like to shoot? Was it as physically exhausting as it seems like it is for your character?
Yeah, we were in a sort of cave-like construction of tunnels, which had, every time I went down there, I was like, this is where the Russians built missiles. Or, you turn around, there'd be people marching in a frog suit with full scuba gear going cave diving, just offset, just another couple of steps down to where there was an underwater lagoon. And, this had been chomped over by water and the art department and, 150 extras dressed as the homeless of New York in 1985, the mole people who lived in the subway. And so it was full of just crap on the floor. And I'm just rolling around it and just losing my mind in it, punching the air, punching a puppet, then punching the air and fighting myself, essentially. And I felt like it's sort of very odd, weird version of Fight Club, really, in a brief moment in that story. But again, just like a weirdly enjoyable thing to try and pull off, to sort of drag yourself into the air and throw yourself backwards and use forces that aren't there to create a reality. It's kind of what we do again for a living. So it was fun.
Gaby, you've been part of some really interesting stories in recent years for television, from Girls to Transparent to Winning Time, now with this series. Do you prefer the opportunity that provides you and being able to live in a character for many more hours than you would in a film, or has that just been where the stories are that you've wanted to tell?
Yeah, it's where a lot of the really good writing is and the good storytelling is these days. I do enjoy playing a character for a long period of time. It's a different experience. It's also a different experience with your collaborators. You get to become a family. You get to deepen your relationships. And that's one of the most beautiful parts about what we get to do is we really get to know each other in an intimate way, in unusual circumstances. So, when it goes on for years, especially, Jay and Amy, who play my brother and sister on Transparent, are legitimately my brother and sister now. So it's really can be a wonderful experience. But even 5 months, 6 months, this was, that's a nice chunk of time to get to explore something. So I really feel grateful for this new, I know it's not any more new, but this golden age of television. Yeah. Yeah,
it certainly feels like you would have needed some extra time to unpeel the many layers of the emotions of these characters.
Yeah, this one wouldn't exist in a 2-hour format.
No, there's only so much that you can do and do well in an hour and a half or 2 hours. Yeah. And to get to, especially explore multiple characters, in some capacity, a little bit more limited maybe for the what's the word? Supporting roles. But you get to dig into more than just your hero's true psychology in a way that I think is really exciting and of course, much more true to a lived experience. So it's very cool.
Benedict, to briefly veer off of the topic of this show and into something else you have on Netflix with the Wes Anderson shorts, how was your experience working with and being directed by him and in that kind of a magical world and those magical worlds, words that you were given? Does that also feel like a very unique experience?
Yes, it's the short answer. I think every experience with Wes is a unique experience. I've just had another. So, he's just a sort of extraordinary auteur and a cineast and, just a sort of creator of good taste that feels his own as well as borrowed and inspired by his heroes. And it's a unique experience to be on a Wes Anderson set and to step through those, literally to step through those sets. It's just the layers of Henry Sugar, I suppose, is because we were shifting between narration and character. And you're literally walking through scenic flats that are flying up. You're ripping off costumes that have pajamas underneath the dinner jacket. You being handed chips and walking through a lobby and then going through to play blackjack at a table with Ben Kingsley being the croupier. It is just, and Adam Stockhausen's brilliant world and Sanjay's operation of this camera and Wes go, okay, I think we got it, but let's do one more for the fun of it. And it's like the 47th take of that much dialogue. I mean, it was the most extraordinary brain gym I've had since kind of doing the Sherlock deduction scenes for that series. So it was a wonderful thing to be in, a wonderful feeling to do. I mean, difficult as hell, real tummy rubbing, head patting stuff. But I mean, again, another reason to get out of bed in the morning. I mean, it was fantastic. And I adore him. I adore him as a person to be around, to watch, to learn from, and just to be a friend of. What a privilege. And to do it again recently, literally last week, was amazing.
What is the most unexpected thing about working with the puppets, having to puppeteer a puppet, being in seat? Like, was it anything like you thought it would be?
No. Yes and no. I mean, I suppose I'd done a little bit of it just to amuse my boys at home, but I mean, just not as research for this, just larking about as one does as a dad. But it was. I tell you what, there's a very technical thing which is quite boring, but I'll be quick about it. You're watching your performance. You're not doing that. You're not watching there. You're watching as the camera is shooting there, but the image is reversed. So left is right and right is left. And all of us conceded defeat on that one. We went, look, we could do a lot in a short space of time. And my God, the other actors in the Good Day Sunshine crew were so committed and so brilliant. But I was the one who went, okay, hands up. I don't have as much rehearsal time as them. We really need to cheat this. Can we just have it normally? So we don't have to do that bit of math in our head. And even so, just to be able to do that and get the, thing of him moving at the same time as your mouth and choosing which words to talk of and what of a very long word like disestablishmentarianism you could or couldn't puppet was really important. So we were doing that a lot at dinner, at various social gatherings, and it was kind of weird. So that wasn't very good. I haven't done that for like a year.
Good. That's good.
So it takes a lot. But we had really, really experienced, brilliant people both operating puppets and teaching us how to do it. So it was a joy.
I had just gone to the Jim Henson Creature Shop and seen some of their work before watching this, and it gave me a whole new perspective. So
perfect backstory for that. Exactly. I mean, they're the gods of this world, and all homage we pay to them is real. It's a fantastic thing to have in the world. It really is.
Well, thank you both so much for talking to me. Really beautiful series. So thank you.
Thank you.